At about the age of 16, Gerrit, son of Hendrik, arrived at Swedes Landing, Delaware in March of 1638 aboard the Kalmar Nickel. There's a modern-day replica of this ship that travels the seacoast from Delaware to Maryland. He then traveled up the Hudson River to an area near Albany. On May 7, 1646, he married Merete Mol in the New Amsterdam Dutch Church in modern-day New York City. He received a grant of farmland on Manhattan Island, on what is now Broadway near Maiden Lane, and became known as Blauvelt, which means blue farmer. His farm was called the Blauvelt. In due time, all the surviving children of Gerrit, with the exception of Elizabeth, became shareholders in the Tappan Patent and resided there. In 3 letters written by Van Rensselaer in December of 1637, he refers to this boy. In 2 of the 3 letters, he says that Gerrit was from Nykirk. In one of them, he says that he was 15 years of age, and in another, he tells us that he was a shoemaker. Gerrit never used the name Blauvelt himself, though we do find him referred to in early records in Manhattan as de Blauvelt. Again, that means blue farmer. All of Gerrit's children that settled on the Tappan Patent at first did not use Blauvelt. Then almost simultaneously, they began to appear in the records as Johannes Blauvelt, Maria Blauvelt, and so on. About the same time, Elizabeth, who had remained in New York City, began to appear in the New York Dutch Church as Elizabeth Blauvelt. About 150 years before Gerrit came to America, the name Blauvelt appears in the Netherlands. About 1487, a child was born, presumably in Enkhuizen, and he was baptized with the name Peter. In time, when he had attained manhood, he became a ship owner in Enkhuizen. What other name he might have used at first, we do not know. It most likely was a patronymic, which is a family name passed down through the father. Family names at that time were just in the formative years there in the Netherlands. In 1534, when Peter had attained some affluence and become a public official and later sheriff of Enkhuizen, Peter acquired a coat of arms. It was a blue shield, across the middle of which was a horizontal gold bar. Above this were 2 gold discs, and below it a 3rd one. The background of a coat of arms is termed the field, and here we have a shield with a blue field, and the meaning of Peter's newly acquired name of Blauvelt is Blue Field. At that time, Dutch ships carried a shield, probably to designate the owner. We cannot say for certain that we descend from Peter. It is likely but not proven. There are very few people in the Netherlands today with the name Blauvelt. At the same time, Gerrit lived in New Amsterdam. A privateer, that's another name for a pirate, by the name of Captain William Blauvelt, used it as a home port. The captain is supposed to have received a commission at The Hague to operate the privateer ship called the Grace. It was a frigate of 6 guns with a complement of 50 men, and they operated out of the port of New Amsterdam against the Spanish in the West Indies. The Netherlands were at war with Spain at the time. From 1643 to 1656, we can find many references to the captain in the documentary history of the colony. In 1649, after peace was declared, he sailed into what is now New York Harbor with the Spanish ship Tabasco. This created quite a furor, even to the extent of the matter being brought before the high and mighty lords of the States General in the Netherlands. Governor Kieft was at one time a co-partner in the Grace, and in the final settlement of the Tabasco affair, Cornelius Tenhoven, the lords and the director, Peter Stuyvesant and others, seem to have shared in the proceeds. In 1651, this and other Spanish ships that were brought in were declared good prizes. The relationship of Captain Blauvelt to our ancestor Gerrit is not known. It is probable that he was an uncle or a cousin,